Today, when thinking about Valtteri Bottas' career, the first thing that pops into people's mind is him being Lewis's number 2 driver, who couldn't quite keep up with the 7-time world champion during their time at Mercedes. To some, this lack of a true title challenge is to the Finn's detriment, calling him a quote-unquote bad driver for not pushing Lewis to his limits. But I would argue that Bottas was one of the best drivers in the 2010s and now early 2020s. While he may not be a generational talent, he was more than just a solid midfield driver. Let's say we had to rank the drivers of the 2010s, he wouldn't get into the S tier, but he would be a very solid candidate in A tier. And yes, he wasn't as good as Lewis, but that just proves that the Brit is a once-in-a-generation talent. Valtteri's time at both Williams and Alfa Romeo illustrates him being a very solid driver in the field, even taking into account the lackluster end of his 2022 season and relatively weak beginning of the 2023 season. His fun personality also adds something that's kind of lacking in today's grid. May he stay in the sport for a long time. When looking at his stats, his 10 GP wins pop up, which ranks him 35th in race wins all time. But behind stats, there is context to explore.
Gets its moment in the sun. Sebastian Vettel is a Grand Prix winner.
Verstappen wins a Formula One Grand Prix, wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Ocon is going to be a Grand Prix winner in Formula One. Ocon wins the Hungarian Grand Prix.
A sensational drive being completed with Rubens Barrichello from Sao Paulo, Brazil, winning for Ferrari, and he's done it!
Gasly wins the Italian Grand Prix. Oh my, is that just wonderful?
Oh my god! What did the doctor?
This is Beyond the Checkered Flag. Bottas started his F1 career at Williams in 2013 after a successful junior career which included the 2011 GP3 title. During his 4 years at Williams, Valtteri proved himself to be a very solid midfield driver, stepping on a podium 9 times with the team, with his best race finish being second. In his 4 seasons at Williams, he finished 17th, 4th, 5th and 8th in the Drivers' Championship, while regularly beating his teammates, once again showing that he belonged in the sport. That is why when Nico Rosberg announced his retirement at the end of the 2016 season, not many were shocked by the Finn replacing him at Merc. No one expected him to put up a fight against Hamilton, and Mercedes didn't want to see a repeat of 2016 on their hands. They just needed a number 2 driver who would have Hamilton win the championship from other challengers and help the team secure the World Championship. Bottas finished 3rd in his first race as a Mercedes driver, the Australian GP behind Vettel and Hamilton. At the next GP in China, he spun behind the safety car and fell from 5th to 12th, but managed to fight his way back to 6th place. He managed to qualify on pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton at the Bahrain GP, marking his first career pole position. In the race, he finished in 3rd place after suffering from tire pressure problems during his first stint and being unable to find the pace to battle with Vettel and Hamilton. But the Finn's time to shine came at the 4th race of the season in Russia. Russia was a track where he famously excelled, finishing 3rd in 2014 and 4th in 2016. He managed to qualify 3rd on Saturday with the Ferrari starting 1-2 but managed to beat teammate Hamilton. And after a delayed start, which gave us a classic Alonso radio moment,
I tried 3 times, please, Fernando.
I try already, so try yourself.
Bottas took the lead of the race by turn 1 thanks to his excellent start. And the Finn didn't look back for the rest of the race, keeping his head cool despite the pressure put on him by the chasing Ferrari of Seb Vettel. Valtteri ended up winning his first race by just over 6/10 of a second and became only the 5th Finnish driver to win a GP. What followed next for Bottas was a retirement in Spain from 3rd place, a 4th place in Monaco with teammate Hamilton only finishing 7th, and 2 2nd place finishes in Canada and Baku. In Baku, he famously took 2nd place from Stroll at the last moment of the race. The next race, the 9th race of the season, was in Austria, where in qualifying Bottas managed to put his Mercedes on pole, with Vettel starting 2nd and teammate Hamilton in 3rd place. On Sunday, Valtteri finally got a good start, at least compared to previous races such as Spain where he caused both Max and Kimi to retire, and managed to hold on to his lead for the rest of the race. As in Sochi, for the end of the race he was under immense pressure from Seb Vettel, but once again managed to come home with a 6-10th lead over the German's prancing horse. With this win, and with Hamilton only finishing 4th, Bottas was in 3rd place of the championship fight, only 15 points behind the grid, proving many doubters wrong and showing that he belonged in the top of the field. After his win in Austria, Valtteri's momentum slowed down a bit, although he still managed to score 6 podiums in the next 10 races, during which he also scored another pole in Interlagos. His podiums helped Mercedes clinch their 4th consecutive Constructors' Championship in the United States with 4 races to go in the season. For the last race of the season, in Abu Dhabi, Bottas put his Merc on pole for a 4th time this year, and as he did in Russia and Austria, he got off to a great start and managed to hold on to his lead for a race, finishing this time in front of Hamilton, with Vettel coming home 3rd. This meant that he finished the 2017 season in 3rd place of the championship, with 3 race wins, 4 pole positions and 13 podiums next to his name. He helped the team win the Constructors' Championship and overall lived up to expectations, although he fell off in the second part of the season. But this still assured him a place at Mercedes for 2018. However, 2018 didn't turn out as expected. In fact, Valtteri didn't win any race that season, finishing only 5th in the Drivers' Championship. Bottas could have easily won 2 races, but luck wasn't on his side. In Baku, he was leading the race with 3 laps to go. However, a puncture to his rear right gifted the win to teammate Hamilton. And in Russia, he was asked to let Lewis through, in what could have easily been a win for the Finn. This also meant that he became the first Mercedes driver to finish a season without a win since Michael Schumacher in 2012. As he did enough for Mercedes to win a 5th straight Constructors' title, he managed to secure himself a place at Mercedes for 2019. However, calls of him being replaced were getting louder and louder. For the season opener in 2019, a new Bottas appeared in the paddock. Equipped with a beard and hungrier than ever, Bottas seemed ready to put on a title fight. This new form of the Finn, later dubbed Bottas 2.0, wasn't messing about. He qualified 2nd on Saturday but took the race lead by turn 1 and wasn't faced by Hamilton chasing him. He ended the race with a 20-second lead over 2nd place Hamilton, the fastest lap next to his name, and one of the most famous radio messages of the past years.
Whom it may concern you.
He later called Australia the best race of his life and looked ready for a title challenge, giving fans similarities to Rosberg 2016. Hamilton answered with back-to-back race wins. However, Bottas managed to finish 2nd both times and even started on pole for the Chinese GP, where he lost the lead on the opening lap to his teammate. To reinforce his title challenge, Bottas needed to come back with a win, and that's exactly what he did in Baku. After taking the pole for the 3rd time that season in 4 races, he managed to keep the lead of the race, despite Hamilton having a better start. Valtteri then pulled the lead, to which Hamilton couldn't catch up, and won for the 2nd time in 2019 and 5th time in his career. This win also meant that after 4 races in the season, Bottas led the championship thanks to his fastest lap in Australia. For the next race in Spain, Bottas once again started on pole, but a bad start costed him the race lead and he didn't manage to put up a fight to Hamilton, who won the race and with it took back the lead of the championship. Bottas came home in 2nd place, meaning that Mercedes finished 1-2 for the first 5 races of the season, showing that they were a league above anyone else. Hamilton won the next 3 races in Monaco, Canada and France, whereas Bottas only managed 2nd in France, 3rd in Monaco and didn't even step on the podium in Canada, finishing 4th. If that wasn't bad enough, Bottas managed to start on pole at Silverstone, but a poorly timed safety car once again costed him the race win. Neither of the 2 last races before the summer break went well for Bottas, as at the chaotic German GP he crashed after a mistake in wet conditions and only finished 8th in Hungary after contact with Leclerc on the opening leg, which forced him an unplanned pit stop, which put him a lap down. This all accumulated in Hamilton having a 60-point lead over the Finn by the summer break, with Max in 3rd place only 7 points behind Valtteri. Despite the recent struggles, he was re-signed before the Belgian GP to Mercedes for 2020, even if there were speculations of Ocon replacing him. Merck decided to go with the stability and familiarity provided by Bottas. For the 2019 Japanese GP, Bottas qualified 3rd, with both Ferraris starting in front of him. However, this didn't faze Bottas, who got off to an excellent start, jumping both the Ferraris and found himself in the lead of the race by turn 1. And once again, Valtteri didn't look back for the rest of the race, as he wasn't truly challenged by the Ferrari of Vettel. This win meant that for the first time in 13 races, Bottas found himself back on the top step of the podium. He managed a third place in Mexico before heading to Austin. In Austin, he qualified first for the 5th time this season and the first time since Silverstone. Bottas got off to a great start and kept the lead until lap 34 when he pitted from the lead, which was now inherited by Hamilton. Hamilton, who was on a different strategy to his Finnish teammate, managed to keep the lead of the race until lap 52, when Bottas finally managed to overtake him. Surprisingly enough, the Mercs were allowed to fight, but Bottas didn't have much trouble overtaking Hamilton on much fresher tires. The race finished with the Mercs 1-2, with Bottas taking home his 4th victory of the season. Even if Bottas won the Battle of Austin, Hamilton won the war in 2019, as by finishing 2nd, he secured his 6th title. Bottas finished the 2019 season in 2nd place in the championship, with 326 points, the most successful season of his career to date. He recorded 4 wins, 15 podium finishes, 5 pole positions and 3 fastest laps. He also helped Mercedes win another Constructors' Championship. For the delayed and shortened 2020 season, the season opener was held at an Austrian doubleheader, with Bottas qualifying first for the first race, which he managed to win pretty easily, and that being his 8th win of his career, the 2nd season opener. Meanwhile, Hamilton only managed 4th, which sparked new hopes of a Bottas title challenge. However, the season didn't turn out as expected for the Finn. He only managed a 2nd and a 3rd place at the next 2 races, but only finished 11th due to a tyre failure at the British GP, and only managed a 3rd place finish due to similar tyre pressure issues at the 70th anniversary GP, despite starting on pole. By the Italian GP, where he only finished 5th, he was already 47 points behind teammate Hamilton. Next came the Tuscan GP, where Bottas managed to take the lead of the race from Hamilton on the opening lap of the race. However, he lost that lead after the restart due to red flag, and didn't manage to retake the lead from Hamilton, coming home in 2nd place. After the disappointment of the Tuscan GP, Russia came next, a track where Bottas famously performed well, and he didn't fall flat on those expectations. Saturday didn't go to plan as the Finn qualified behind Hamilton and Max. However, Valtteri got another start like he did in 2017 and managed to jump the Red Bull of Verstappen. During the race, Lewis was handed down 2 5-second penalties for doing practice starts outside of the designated areas, which he served on his first pit stop. This put Valtteri way in the lead and came home comfortably for a 2nd win in Russia and his 9th in his career. This was his last win of the season, as he only managed 3 2nd places in the last 7 races of the season, despite starting on pole at the Emilia-Romagna GP. Bottas' arguably worst race of his career came at the Sakir GP, where George Russell replaced Hamilton, who caught COVID. This was Russell's opportunity to show that he deserved the number 2 seat at Merc, and from Bottas' point of view, this was also a crucial race, as he was expected to easily beat Russell, who was put in the Mercedes at the last second. But the weekend didn't turn out how Bottas expected it to. Valtteri managed to qualify on pole, but George managed to take the lead by turn 1 thanks to a great start. Bottas was unable to keep up with the pace of the young Brit, who managed to build up a handsome lead in the race. However, a safety car and mismanaged pit stops meant that the Mercs found themselves in 4th and 5th, with Bottas 4th on used tires. Meanwhile, everyone else around him had fresh tires. Russell managed pretty easily to get past the Finn, who continued to tumble down the order all the way to 8th, while Russell, if not for a puncture towards the end of the race, should have all but finished on the podium at least. This race was for many the final nail in the coffin for Bottas at Mercedes, but the team decided to keep him for 2021. Overall, the season was a mixed bag for the Finn, who looked dominant in Austria, but once again his form dwindled down in the 2nd part of the season. But 2 race wins, 5 poles, 11 podiums and 2 fastest laps meant that he finished once again 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. The 2021 season was marked by one of the closest title fights we've seen in recent years, but it unfortunately didn't involve Bottas. He still proved himself a crucial part of the Constructors' fight and helped Mercedes win their 8th consecutive Constructors' title. After 8 podiums in 15 races, Bottas' time to shine came at the Turkish GP. He qualified 2nd, but thanks to a grid penalty to teammate Hamilton, he started on pole. Bottas comfortably led most of the race from Verstappen until his pit stop. After pitting for new inters, he easily passed Leclerc's Ferrari and went on to achieve his first and only victory of the year, over 14 seconds ahead of 2nd place Verstappen. This was his 10th and so far last win of his career. The rest is history. Bottas finished the 2021 season in 3rd place of the Drivers' Championship and moved to Alfa Romeo, where he proved himself to be a very valuable member of the team, although hasn't had a shot of winning a race with the team so far. I hope you liked this video and provided you with more context about Bottas' career wins so far.